But my main topic today, my lords, is taxation, and it was wonderful to hear in the gracious speech that the government would continue to cut taxes. My right honourable friend the Chancellor has done much good work already, and I would single out two things in particular, which is the path to the lowest rate of corporation tax in the developed world and the reduction in the top rate of income tax. But I have to say that the government get few points for tax simplification. The Office for Tax Simplification was a great idea, and they've done excellent work. But their recommendations have not all been heeded, and more than 2,000 pages of complex tax legislation will have been added in Parliament. Now, the Chancellor has shown his capacity for radical thinking with his excellent pension reforms announced in this year's budget, and I look forward to the pension tax bill delivering those reforms. What the country now needs is a similar reforming mindset applied to the tax system. I'd like to draw Noble Lord's attention to a substantial report on a single income tax produced 2 years ago by the 2020 Tax Commission, which was sponsored by the TaxPayers Alliance and by the Institute of Directors. And it echoes the conclusions of work done by my noble friend Lord Forsyth of Drumlean's Tax Commission over 8 years ago. Now, the report recommended that most taxes should be abolished and replaced with a new single tax on income. And this major simplification would replace the existing income tax, national insurance, corporation tax, and various capital taxes, including inheritance tax. And for good measure, it would get rid of the detested air passenger duty. The Commission recommended a single 30% tax rate on income, plus a total restraint on taxes as a percentage of national income of around a third. And the essential argument for a low tax regime is that high taxes act as a drag on the potential of the economy. Now, the 2020 Tax Commission estimates that its proposals would add over 9% to GDP over 15 years. And importantly, the annual growth rate would permanently be increased by around 0.4%. These potential prizes are too great to ignore. The Tax Commission's analysis included dynamic modelling carried out for it by the Centre for Economics and Business Research. This is the key. Many of us were delighted that the Chancellor has used dynamic modelling to underpin the reductions in corporation tax last year and the recent cut in fuel duty. So far, so good. But what we really need the Treasury to do is move towards using dynamic modelling as a way of life. It's good to use dynamic modelling for specific taxes, but the Treasury should be using it to understand how to drive the tax system to support the whole economy. Now, traditional modelling methods will inevitably produce incremental rather than radical approaches to policy. If the analysis of the 2020 Tax Commission of a single low rate of tax is even half true, the Treasury simply has to embrace it. Of course, analysing the impact of a radical tax change is one thing, but implementing it is another. And it's not easy, in an advanced economy like ours, to re-engineer the tax system in a short period of time. There have to be transitions to avoid destabilising the economy and avoid harming individuals. But of course, there is the underlying paradox that if you take a long time over tradition and if you overprotect the status quo, you will not see the benefits of higher growth, which is the aim. So there is a case for boldness. I can see why the government might shy from wholesale restructuring as proposed by the 2020 tax. It does seem pretty scary. But I do not understand why the government are not pressing ahead with one key element of the tax commission changes, namely merging national insurance with income tax. This has a growing body of support. The Office for Tax Simplification proposed it in its review of small business taxation. The Institute for Fiscal Studies supports it. Surveys of businesses show strong support. Informed commentators know that national insurance is a tax in all but name. But the one thing that has managed to keep it alive is that it is the ultimate stealth tax. Gordon Brown knew that when he raised the extra 1%, allegedly, for the NHS. And it seems that Mr. Miliband is thinking about the same wheeze to try again if he gets a shot at running the country. I have found it extraordinary that the Exchequer Secretary has used the Beveridge notion of the contributory principle as the rationale for keeping these separate. Expecting citizens to contribute in return for qualifying for benefits is fine, but you do not need the fiction of a separate national insurance fund to achieve that. I think the time has come to be honest about national insurance. No one pretends that merging the two systems is a walk in the park. There are many legal and administrative hurdles to overcome, but the prize is great if we want a simpler tax system.
What would you do about the problem of pension income, which is not subject to national insurance?
I was about to say that the TaxPayers Alliance produced a very thoughtful report within 5 years and could also protect the expectations of pensioners at the same time. There is a way of doing it. All I would say to my noble friend and to noble lords generally, it can be done. It just needs a government with a will to do it.